Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the STEM Virtual Masters Conclave Zimbabwe. And thank you for joining us today on this event. We have a wonderful event planned out for you today. I promise you that it's going to be exciting, insightful, and it's going to be a very, very good use of your time, right? First off, let me introduce myself. My name is Kayode Abbas. I'm the regional manager at Seed Global Education Limited. Seed Global we are the company behind this masterclass, this event, and we've put this event together so that you can meet with admissions directors from schools in the US and learn about opportunities to attend these schools, especially if you are looking to study a STEM program. We are going to kick this event today with presentations from each of the schools representatives on the call. And I'm sure that you are excited you're as excited as I am today. So I'm going to open the chat for you all now to let me know where you are joining us from. So please let me know where you are joining us from as soon as the chat is open. Okay, so the chat is open now. So let us know what city in Zimbabwe you are joining us from, and also let the panelists also know how excited you are to be on this call today. Yes, so I'm seeing all your messages. I'm going to respond to them. So let us know where you are joining us from, and let the panelists know how excited you are to join us. Okay, so I'm seeing Portia from Harare, Patience from Harare, Pride from Harare, Awakiwe from Awawi. You didn't put what city you are from, Awakiwe. So you just said from Zimbabwe. So let us know the city in Zimbabwe you are from. Come on, let us know. And let the school reps know how excited you are to be on this call. If you're excited, let them know you're excited. Okay, so I'm saying Method from Harare. It seems like everybody in Harare is on the call today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we are excited to have you. I promise you it's going to be a very, very insightful session. Very, very soon, I'm going to mute the chat. So as soon as that is done, I want you to put any questions that you have in the Q&A section. So if you look down below beside the chat button, you'll see a Q&A button there. So click on that Q&A button and ask questions. So as soon as the school starts making their presentation, I'm sure you're going to have many, many questions. Please make sure that you take down those questions and put it in the Q&A session so that those questions can be addressed. I promise you, we are going to try as much as possible to answer all of your questions, right? So if you're as excited as I am, let's kick this event on. And so first off, we're going to invite Boston University in the person of Mark Ken. So Mark, I hope you're ready to wow them and let them know what is in store for them at Boston University. So over to you, Mark.
Sounds wonderful. Let me just present. Can you turn on sharing?
Yes, it's done now. You can share now.
Great. And can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Awesome. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Mark Kahn. I am the Director of Master's Marketing and Enrollment here at Boston University's Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. At BU, we have 18,000 students coming from all over the world. There are half of our population is undergraduate, the other half is graduate. So it's a wonderful research institution located in the heart of downtown Boston. There are many resources available to our students. We are a comprehensive university, so you'll find that there's a lot of attention that's given to our students in the form of everything from support through your career journey towards aiding students who may be first generation college students. There are wonderful centers for international students as well. Some of our programs, we have 40 different master's programs and many PhD programs as well. Some of those are listed here. Our most popular ones are computer science. We've seen a spike in artificial intelligence. We also have an amazing economics department. I do not work for the engineering school, but I am surrounded by illustrious engineering colleagues. So I do mention that our engineering concentrations are also available for students too, through our engineering programs. Overall, you're going to find that there's a nice balance of classroom activities as well as things to do outside of the classroom. Boston is a thriving city. I mentioned BU's population, but we are one of about 50 different colleges in the Boston area. Our students do have the ability to take classes not just intra, meaning within the university's community, but also at other schools in the area too. So, falling under the umbrella of 17 different colleges at Boston University, you also have access to many through the Boston Consortium. So, overall, one of the things that makes us sets us apart are the facilities that we have on campus. Because we are a larger institution, you have access to over 1,500 different labs, wonderful opportunities to devote yourself to research if that's what you're interested in, amazing internship opportunities as well, given our location that's pretty centralized. When it comes to research, as I've mentioned, this is something that a lot of our students are passionate about, and it's not just limited to our PhD students. So master students do have the ability to participate in research if that's something that you're thinking about, or if you're thinking of possibly dipping your toe into the PhD pool, you may want to build up some of the research cred prior. In terms of scholarships, we do offer quite an array of scholarships. First and foremost, we have 25 seed scholarships at $10,000 each. But in addition to that, if you are qualified for another merit scholarship of a higher amount, our scholarships range up to 50%. We will give you the higher of the scholarships that you qualify for. Priority deadlines, we're looking at typically a January 15th deadline, and our final deadlines are usually March 15th. I would urge you to get your applications in earlier rather than later, just because we have the largest pool of scholarship funding available earlier. And in the event that anything goes awry, you have to fix any mistakes or you have anything to address in your application, you're giving yourself a little bit more time to do so. So thank you for your time and attention, and I look forward to answering your questions down the road.
Thank you very, very much, Mark. And if you're just joining us on the call, Mark Khan of Boston University just finished his presentation. So if you have any questions for Mark, please leave it in the Q&A session. So look down beside the chat button, you see Q&A. Click on that button and leave your questions in that session, in the section of below. So without wasting your time, we'll go to the next presenter from all the way from New York City, NYU Tandon. I want to welcome Andrew Rappin. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. All right,
Thank
we'll
you.
get started here. This looks okay to you?
Yes, your screen is up now.
I love to hear it. Thanks
Yes.
everyone for joining. It's great to meet you. I'm Andrew Rappin, the Senior Director for Graduate Enrollment Management and Admissions here at NYU Tandon. I put together some slides for you, and hopefully we'll get through a lot of really helpful information that you will find beneficial. There we go. There we go. This is a list of our programs that you can find here at NYU Tandon. So at the NYU Tandon School of Engineering, we have science, tech, and engineering programs that you see listed here. So computer science programs are many students find interesting. Mechanical and robotics. Our management of technology program is a nice combination of business and tech. Students find a home in all of these master's and PhD programs. We do offer scholarships to our master's students, and all of our PhD students are fully funded as well. For master's students, those are partial tuition scholarships that we hand out in addition to the partnership that we have with SEED, where we offer $20,000 scholarships to a select number of students. So we will look at your academic performance for those scholarships as well as your match to the program that you're applying for. But many students find, like I said, a home within our master's programs and are happy to stay with us for 2 years, working through all of the labs and the partnerships that we have with our local institutions and organizations that employ and offer internships to our students. Many students find it beneficial to know the rankings for the schools. So I've compiled a few of them here for US News and World Reports, Times Higher Education, all sort of putting us in the top 40 for their various rankings of best global universities, best US engineering schools, best national universities. So you know that the quality of education that you're getting from New York University at the Tandon School of Engineering is not only something that we can share with you is some of the best education and experiences that you'll get, but others have sort of explored what we're doing and understood that we're doing it very well as well. While you're here with us on campus, not only do you have a great experience learning from top-notch faculty around the world, but you have an incredible hands-on experience that you'll get in the facilities and research labs that we have across the university. And throughout the city, in New York City, you have a number of different connections that the university has that will, as I mentioned before, connect you to some of the most influential organizations, some tech giants that are calling New York City their home, but also thousands of startups that give really great opportunities for students to get some hands-on experience at the smaller organizations that are around us in New York City. We are located, as I've mentioned, in New York City. We have our Tandon School of Engineering that is located in Brooklyn. This is a map of New York City in the subway system. We have easy access for students to move around the city to access those internships, those interviews, and those networking opportunities that are afforded from the Tandon career team as well. I'll keep it short so we can get through to the other presentations and on to the questions that everyone has. But thank you for taking a few minutes to listen to a little bit more about the NYU Tandon School of Engineering. And I'm excited to chat with each of you after this.
Thank you very much, Andrew. So we'll move from New York City to George Washington University, located in in Washington, D.C. So sorry, the capital of the United States. So I'll hand it over to Catherine Huggins of George Washington School of Engineering.
Thank you, Coyote, and good afternoon, everybody. I know it's a little later in the day for you than it is for me on the East Coast, where it is about 12 o'clock in the afternoon for all of us here. As Coyote said, my name is Catherine Huggins, and I am the Associate Director of Graduate Admissions and International Partnerships here at the George Washington University. We were founded in 1821 by an act of Congress, and as already been said, we are located in Washington, D.C., which is the capital of the United States. So if you're joining the call today from Harare, hello from one capital city to another. Happy to have you. The university is made up of 14 colleges and schools. That includes our School of Business, our Columbian College of Arts and Sciences, our Milken School of Public Health, our School of Medicine, and so many more. But specifically, I'm talking to you today from our School of Engineering and Applied Science. We are made up of 6 academic departments, which includes computer science, civil and environmental engineering, mechanical and aerospace engineering, biomedical, engineering management and systems engineering, and electrical and computer engineering. Through those 6 academic departments, we do offer 11 different programs at the master's and PhD level. And we are a slightly smaller institution. We have about 1,200 students studying at the graduate level at the School of Engineering. But that's a great benefit to our students because it means that you're going to be in much smaller classrooms. You're going to get to know your faculty member individually. We have about 80 tenured and tenure track faculty members, so you really get that personal one-on-one experience with your professors, with the experts in the field that you are working with. You can see a map of our campus located in that top right-hand corner to really get a sense of how close we are to some of the nation's larger institutions as well as landmarks. You can see we're about 5 blocks away from the White House, 2 blocks away from the World Bank and the IMF, and we're centrally located in about a 4 block radius, which is great. Our main building is the Science and Engineering Hall. You can see a picture of that right there as well. This is our main hub for engineering students. This is where we have the majority of our classes. It's where our faculty have their offices. It's where our career services team for the School of Engineering is located, right on the second floor. It's easily accessible to our students. And we also have some research laboratory spaces in there as well. So along with our high resolution imaging suites, we have a class 100 nanofabrication clean room. We also have a high bay with a strong wall and a strong floor where our civil students can do earthquake preparedness exam research. And then we also have some opportunities for collaborative interdisciplinary research. So our hard sciences on campus, our School of Medicine also have research labs in this space where students can do work together. So our biomedical students do a lot of collaborative work with our School of Medicine. They have a cancer institute on our upper floors, and they do a lot of great research in there. Our master's programs are typically 2 years in length, and the majority of them are thesis optional, meaning you don't have to do research if you don't want to, but it is certainly an option if that's something you're looking for. And our PhD programs are typically 4 to 6 years in length, and that's going to depend greatly on if you're coming in with a prior master's or not. Now, in terms of applications, the things to keep in mind is that you will have to meet our deadlines, especially if you're hoping for funding. So for fall intake, so to join us in August of 2026, that deadline will be January 15th. If you're looking to join in the future for a spring semester, maybe January 2027, that deadline will be September 1st. These deadlines never change. They are the same year in and year out, so we make it very easy for you in that regard. The thing to note is for PhD, that is a hard deadline. For masters, that's a priority deadline. We'll continue to accept applications after those dates. But if you're looking for funding, getting things in by those dates is going to be the greatest possible help for you. We do offer merit scholarships for master's applicants. Those range from 25 to 75%. Again, that's going to be based on the strength of your application, just like Andrew was talking about at NYU. And our doctoral funding is where you'll see the more common full funding opportunities. There's no separate application for any of this funding. If you apply for admission, you will also be considered for funding. And then last, I'll just note that we are GRE optional, and if you've earned your degree or will earn a degree in Zimbabwe, you do not have to submit English language test scores. And for attending today's session, you do qualify for an app fee waiver. That's going to be Seed Africa 2025. So feel free to make a note, take a screenshot. We will also be sharing it again later in the session. But otherwise, thank you so much for listening, and I'm happy to pass it on to the next person.
Thank you so much, Catherine. So we'll move from George Washington to Columbia School of Engineering. And I want to welcome Julianne from Columbia.
Hi, Coyote. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Bear with me. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Julie Hahn. I'm the Associate Director of Graduate Admissions on the operations side. And I'm so happy to be here today to speak to you all about Columbia Engineering. So as you can see our rankings here, it's listed, and we are located in New York City on the Morningside Heights neighborhood. I'll start with some historical highlights. Columbia University was founded in 1754 as King's College. It is the oldest institution of higher education learning in the state of New York and the fifth oldest in the United States. In 1864, the School of Mines was founded and would later become the Fu Foundation School of Engineering and Applied Science. We're proud of many innovations that have come out of the School of Engineering over the years. This includes the invention of the FM radio, the creation of short exposure X-rays, and the mass production of antibiotics. Columbia Engineering is the home to 10 departments offering both MS and PhD programs. You could see them listed on this slide. And of course, we're very proud of our faculty and students who make up those 10 departments. Columbia faculty, alumni, and students are a creative and diverse population. And as New York City is an incredibly diverse city, our faculty and student body reflects that. They come from all over the world. And if you're interested in becoming part of that community, our applications for 2026 is now open. You can see our deadlines here. If you're interested in a PhD program, your deadline will be December 15th. If you're interested in an MS degree, your deadline will vary based on the program, but it'll generally fall between January 5th and February 15th. I also want to mention our professional development and leadership team who work very closely with all of our students on all things professional development. The work that they do with our students include the understanding of the U.S. job search process, and they help build out your resume, cover letters, and LinkedIn profiles. They'll focus on communicating who you are, both written and verbally, with employers and alumni through networking experiences. And then after all of those foundational skills are picked up during the first 2 semesters in your program, you'll get to choose some PDL electives where you want to focus your professional development. And here you'll see some of the names and faces of our fantastic team of the career placement development coaches. As you can see, we have career placement coach in every program. Some of these folks come from industry as well as, and now coach some students how to be successful in this program and process. So we also encourage you to start your application if you haven't done so already. You can reach out to our Office of Graduate Admissions with this email address listed on the screen and our phone number. We'd love to chat with you and can answer any questions that you might have for us. But thank you so much for your time, and I'll hand it back over to Coyote.
Thank you so much, Julie. So I'm sure you can all see that there's one thing in common that all the schools have, and that is the fact that they are all top schools in the US. So you see that we've handpicked these schools, and they are some of the best schools in the world if you want to study a STEM program. That is a science, technology, engineering, or mathematics program in any of the schools. And these are, some of the best schools to study at. So we will move to the next item of the agenda, which is the panel session. And since we've been doing this, we've come across many questions that candidates have had, right? And we've put together some of those questions, which is what we're going to be asking them during the panel. So after the panel, you will have your chance also to ask any other question that has not been addressed, during the panel session. So please take note of all the questions that I'm going to ask them, and note if your question has been brought up. If it has been brought up, take note of the answer so that you don't repeat that same question again, right? So now we'll move on to the question and answer session. I'll ask them questions, they'll provide answers, and at the end, we'll give you an opportunity to ask any other questions that has not been answered. So I hope we're all together. So we'll move to questions and answers. Julie, Andrew, Mark, Catherine, are you ready? Awesome. Okay, so my first question goes to Julie, and it's around, the question is about ideal applicants, right? So I'm sure a lot of people here on the call want to know what you look for in applicants who want to apply to your school. What are the things you look for? How can you tell if an applicant is ideal, right? In terms of the criteria, the requirements, So please just let us know what things you look out for.
Sure. Yeah, I can get started. Of course, we're looking for students who have demonstrated that they're academically successful. But beyond that, we're looking for students who show demonstrated interest in the field that they're applying to. So this could look a lot like projects, even publications, thesis work, poster presentations or internships that are relevant to the program that they're applying to. It's important to show that you've gained some experiences and quality experiences outside of the classroom. We're able to see that you're articulating your why, right? By going out of the way to get hands-on experience. But I would say that's a little bit of what we're looking for in our ideal candidate. And in your application, we're really looking for your story and to kind of see if you're a good match for our program and our school.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Julie. Okay, so my next question is for Catherine, and it's similar to the question that I just asked Julie, but now I want to just add that one, how can a candidate stand out in the application, and can a strong GRE score compensate for a lower undergraduate score or a lower undergraduate performance?
Yeah, so in the United States, it's really common for institutions to do something called a holistic review. And what that means is that during the admissions process, once you've submitted all of your materials to our office, the admissions officers, the professors, the faculty will be looking at every aspect of your application. So it's not just about in your undergraduate CGPA. We really are looking at your letters of recommendation. We're looking at what you're saying in that statement of purpose. We're looking at what you've done outside of the classroom in your resume and CV. And yes, if a school requires the GRE or if it's optional and you choose to submit it, we will be looking at your GRE test scores. The GRE, for those of you who may not know, is the Graduate Records Examination. It's a standardized test that some institutions require. Some let you choose whether or not you want to submit it, and some don't want to see it at all. If you are choosing to maybe make a large change in your studies, if it's maybe been a while since you were in school, if you maybe didn't do quite as well as you wanted, and you have very strong GRE test scores, that can certainly add additional context and information for our faculty in that review process. But if you're a student who's moving potentially from a CS bachelor's to a CS master's, and you were a great student, and you know your letters are going to be amazing, and you've got work experience, maybe you don't need to do the GRE if a school isn't requiring it as a mandatory application. It's going to be really up to you if a school makes it optional. You can always reach out and ask if we have an average range of what we're looking for. It's going to vary by program and by school. The other thing I would just say is that please note that we're always looking at the trajectory and how you did in your program. It's not just that final CGPA. A student who started maybe struggling a little bit, but then by the end of their program is excelling, is going to be a much more compelling and competitive applicant than somebody who started excellently and then really fumbled the ball at the end. Those students might have the same CGPA, but they're telling two very different stories. So make sure that when you're compiling your application, you're creating the best narrative for you, the best case for why a school should admit you.
Thank you, Catherine. Does anyone else on the panel want to add to that? Anyone? Okay. Okay, so we'll move. So my next question is...
You're muted.
You muted yourself, Coyote.
Sorry. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, so I was asking if anyone else on the panel wants to add to what Catherine has said.
Yeah, we caught that part. Her answer was pretty comprehensive.
Okay, great. Okay, so my next question goes to Andrew. And Andrew, it's around research experience, right? So how valuable is undergraduate research experience when applying to graduate STEM programs?
Great question. I think when you're applying to a graduate STEM program, having research is always helpful, but it's not a requirement. Though I think that when you enter a graduate program at any one of our institutions, I think you should expect that you will participate in research in some form during your program. So having research experience is always going to be helpful, so that when you arrive to university, like any one of the four of us here, you are not experiencing a research setting or participation in a research for the first time. It's not required for our programs, and I don't think it's required to participate in a master's program at any one of our institutions in order to have research before you enter. PhD students, I think, should have expectation that faculty will need to see that you have demonstrated research experience coming into a program, especially if you're coming from a bachelor's degree and applying directly into a PhD program. I think research will always enhance your application profile. So going back to the last question, even if you have parts of your application, if your GPA, for example, is a little bit lower, but you've done some really great research and even have presented the research or have publications, anything along those lines that will demonstrate your ability to perform in the academic area in which you're applying to a graduate program in, those will always be helpful items to see. And research is just one way to help demonstrate that in your application, though, as I mentioned, it's not required before you apply to the program.
Thank you, Andrew. So my next question goes to Mark, and I'm sure you've come across, I mean, so many different statements of purpose, essay, right? So what are some common pitfalls that you've seen in applicants' statements of purpose?
Yeah, great question. This is very much aligned with some of the stuff that we're seeing overall. There's a lot of interest in AI and ChatGPT. There's an overdependence on using it for personal statements, and we can certainly spot when someone is not giving us a human authentic response. So I would say it's an overdependence on using ChatGPT is the biggest downfall. What I will say though is it's a great tool, right? Like if you are cleaning up language, if you're making sure that your usage is right on point, that's a good way to utilize it. However, it will always sound like the desperation of someone who's trying to get a voice across if you're using that chiefly as the writing tool for your essays. So your personal statement is very important. It is the only part of the application where you're telling us who you are in your own voice. And the minute you give that power up to ChatGPT, you are doing yourself a disservice.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Mark. Does anyone else on the panel want to add to that part about the ChatGPT? Because we've seen that, I mean, that is the go-to tool for everyone now, you know. Once you give someone an essay, you know, they just enter a prompt and, you know, they want to just go through the shortcuts. So are there any processes or policies your schools have put in place that, you know, that restricts candidates from using ChatGPT for their essays, and are there punishments, you know, attached to such essays? Okay.
So I'll start. We don't have a policy against using ChatGPT. We urge students to use it as a tool. However, there are AI policies once a student is here, including using it for coding or getting caught in any of those things. And our faculty are well versed in how to spot those. So there are huge repercussions if a student depends on it for academic work. There's also an honor code that they say I'm not going to use it, so they're kind of breaking that too.
Julie, your mic was unmuted. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to just say, like, at the end of our application, I know GW does this too, where you have to sign an honor code saying that everything that you're submitting is authentic and it's from you. And also, like, yes, you can use it as a tool for maybe grammar, maybe, you know, little things, but this is a time to paint your story. So please, you know, try not to use ChatGPT for this. Again, but there's no like hard policy set in place. I know some schools have some CRM systems or anything like a software system embedded in their, you know, application reading process where we can detect if you are using ChatGPT. So just keep that in mind as well.
Thank you, Julie. Catherine, I saw your mic was unmuted. Okay.
Julie answered for both of us, so we have the same policy.
Sure. Thank you. Okay, so Julie, my next question goes to you, and it's around the letters of recommendation. And we've seen that a lot of people struggle with letters of recommendation, like who should write that letter for them? Should it be a family member, or should it be, a colleague or a former colleague or a boss? So who should be writing letters of recommendations for candidates applying to application to postgraduate programs?
Yeah, great question. So I would choose recommenders that know your academic and research abilities in great detail. These can be from project supervisors, it could be from faculty members, it could be course instructors, anyone who's like really supervise independent work, or managers from like technical internships, I would say. These letters are to highlight your abilities, right? And to show that you're a great fit for the program that you're applying to. And these faculty members, research advisors, they can speak to that. I would avoid letters from friends, casual friends like family members, just because they can't really speak to your technical skills. I'm sure they can say how great of a person you are, but they can't speak to your academic abilities. So I would stay away from, personal, peers and family members for letters of rec.
Thank you, Julie. So, Catherine, my next question is for you. And this is around post.
Hey, Coyote. What's the question?
What happened? Oh, so sorry. I think. Oh,
We can hear
okay. Sorry. I thought I was signed. I got a notification. So sorry.
you. You're good.
All right. So my next question was around. It's around the visa pathways. So can you elaborate on visa options like CPT, OPT for STEM graduates? And are there opportunities for students to stay in the US after completing their degree?
Yeah, of course. So, if you are planning on studying in the United States, you will most likely study on what's known as an F1 non-immigrant student visa. What that looks like is once you're admitted to a program, you and the school will work together to gather all of the necessary documents, and they will issue you a Form I-20. This is a government document that has all of your biographic, programmatic, school, and financial information. And that's actually the form that you're going to use to apply for your F1 visa. Once you've attended that visa appointment and receive your visa, that's when you're allowed to actually come to the United States. When you receive that visa, you and the US government are entering into an agreement that your main purpose for being in the United States is to be a student. It's to get your degree and earn an education. So, what that means is that there are going to be restrictions put in place for when and where and how long you can work. Typically, during the first year of your program, you are only allowed to work on campus jobs, so in the library or the gym or an admin office, um, and only part-time, which is 20 hours a week. After that first year is when you become eligible for something called CPT, which is curricular practical training. And that's what allows you to actually go get a job or an internship off campus and get practical hands-on experience in your field in that experience. If it's during the summer or another school break, you're not limited to part-time. You can work full-time or more. And you can continue to do CPT into the second year of your master's. And once you graduate, that's when you become eligible for OPT. OPT is optional practical training, and that's the status that allows F1 students to remain in the United States post graduation, continuing to get work experience in your field of study while still on a student visa. So, everyone, no matter what they study, qualifies for at least 1 year of OPT. But if you're in a select STEM program, you're actually eligible to extend for the STEM OPT extension for an additional 2 years, which means students in STEM programs can stay in the US after graduation on their student visa, getting work experience for for a maximum of 3 years. That's before you ever have to talk to an employer about H-1B, apply for another program, return home to Zimbabwe, move to London, whatever you'd like to do at that point. It's up to you. You should know that every school will have an international services office or Office of International Students or whatever name they have that's there to support you to make sure you're not missing out on these deadlines and these opportunities to answer any questions you might have. Like, for example, if you were a student here this fall and you saw the news about H-1B having a fee associated with it, that might have scared you. You could have gone to our ISO and been like, what does this mean for me? And they would have clarified that for you as a student. You don't really need to be concerned about that for several years. Again, if you're not starting a program until maybe fall 2026, it's going to be 5 or 6 years before you might be eligible for H-1B. By that point, the policies might be very different. And there's already been new information about that policy coming out. At first, it was a yearly fee, then it was a one-time fee. It was going to be paid by the employee, now it can be paid by the employer. And it came clear that this wasn't for people who might be transitioning to H-1B from within the United States. It was only going to be applied to people coming to the US for the first time on H-1B. So they're there to help you to make sure that you're not panicking when you see news that maybe you don't quite have all the details. Maybe an online journal is trying to get a big click rate. They're trying to be the most scary when they're writing those headlines. We want to support you and help you and make sure that you're not overreacting to anything and that you have all of the most information available to take advantage of these opportunities like CPT and OPT and more. Hope that helps.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Catherine. So Andrew, my next question is for you. So it's around leadership, right? So we've heard so much. I mean, there's so much being said about leadership, to the point where it's become like a cliche, right? So what do you think about leadership, and do you think it's a relevant trait for STEM graduates in today's world? And also, how can candidates showcase their leadership abilities while applying to STEM degrees?
I think leadership qualities are important for everyone, including STEM students. I think it's an incredible experience to learn to be a leader, and I think the challenge also becomes, how do you demonstrate on paper or in an application process that you possess leadership experience or leadership skills. I think that we can look at what you've done outside of the classroom and inside of the classroom to see examples of this. And so it might show up in your resume where you talk about organizations or student organizations that you may have been a part of, perhaps groups that you were leading, even as a student leading other students. That's great leadership experience, especially for students who are in an undergraduate or bachelor's degree program. I think if you have presented research at a conference, for example, that also demonstrates to me leadership abilities to be able to coordinate not only the research that you conducted, but also to put together a presentation and do that presentation in front of peers or an audience of folks who can speak to you and ask questions about the research that you have conducted. So I think leadership is an important skill to have, especially when you start applying for jobs after your graduate program. I think leadership skills will give you the confidence and the ability to talk about your entire profile that you possess when you're applying for internships or jobs after you have a graduate degree. Leadership skills will allow you to participate in conversations in a confident manner that an employer will be impressed by when it's paired together with all of the skills and academic experience that you've gained during your graduate program.
Yes, I absolutely agree, Andrew. I think leadership is one quality that can make any of the applicants stand out from the crowd. So Mark, my next question is for you. And it's around the job markets in the US, right? So we are aware of the political climate. So I want to ask how you describe the current job market, and are there still any industries or sectors where there's a high demand for STEM graduates?
Yes, this is definitely a prescient question. I often remind students that bad news travels fastest. So whenever you hear of tech layoffs, of a sluggish economy, it's not always the full picture. So currently in the US, we have very low unemployment. We have many opportunities in the tech sector, specifically biotech, pharma, that are unfilled because they are still looking for STEM graduates and new injections of STEM certified students into the job market. So there are many opportunities. Our students are faring very well, and I know that my colleagues also have amazing career services teams that work one-on-one with our students to make sure that they are doing a multi-pronged approach to their search. But overall, yes, there's definitely more bad news out there than not, but it's still very hopeful. And if you look at the emergence of markets in the near future, those tech jobs aren't going away. There will be a bigger leaning into students who have skill sets in artificial intelligence, in machine learning, and the list goes on. So while the bad news can be sometimes a little overwhelming, I would still say it's a very positive place to be with a STEM degree.
Thank you, Mark. So the next question is for Julie, and it's around the resources and support that is available for students post their study. So what are the resources and support that is available for students while studying and post-studying for a STEM degree?
Yeah, so as I mentioned in our presentation, Columbia Engineering has a dedicated career placement officer and a center for career development with many, employer connections. We have recruiting events, resume and interview prep tools. So like Big Interview, we have on-campus recruiting and an AI-enabled career platform for job listing and resume reviews. So departments will also run industry talks and alumni networking events that are valuable for placement. So that's some of the things that we have as resources for all of our graduate school students.
Okay. Does anyone else on the panel want to also contribute? Maybe it's to speak on the support from your schools as well.
The only thing I'll add to complement what Julie said is that there are a lot of opportunities for students to take advantage of, but they have to take advantage of them. No one's going to drag you to a career fair or to an event that's specifically to, what you're looking to get a job in. But this is also very important to stay informed of the opportunities. Check your email, make sure that you're not missing anything that our schools are working hard to get in front of you. So to complement those efforts, you certainly need to be a little bit more proactive in this process as well.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for that. So my next question is around the cultural adjustment. And the question goes to Catherine. So what are the challenges culturally that graduates face, and how can they overcome them?
Yeah, of course. If you do end up coming to the United States to any of our schools or elsewhere to study, it's going to be a big cultural adjustment. No matter where you end up, you're going to be moving potentially halfway around the world. You're going to be in a totally new environment, surrounded by, at that point, strangers. That's just what happens when you make a big move. All of our universities will have services to help you get acquainted with your classmates. They're going to have events. I strongly encourage you to attend any welcome week activities or things that schools do. I know at GW we'll do several orientations where you can come and meet your classmates and learn more about your program in the school. We also do happy hours, events with food and drinks where you can come just socialize with each other. A lot of schools might also have virtual group chats and platforms where you can speak to your classmates before you ever even leave your home country. I would say just engaging with your university, with your admissions office in the lead up, finding out what those social events are, and knowing that you're going to have advisors that are there to assist you once you're on campus. You're not going to be alone. Everyone's going to be joining at the same time in your cohort. From personal experience, I moved a lot as a child. It can be a little daunting, but it's okay. We're all here to support you, and so long as you know that you're doing something that's really going to be for the betterment of you. It's an exciting time. It's okay to have some nerves, but don't be scared to reach out, to say hi, to introduce yourself to staff and faculty and your peers. We want you to succeed and we want you to be a part of our community. So that cultural adjustment will take a little bit of time, but there will be people there to help you along the way.
Thank you, Kat. So Andrew, my next question goes to you, and it's around PhDs. So if you notice in the Q&A, a lot of people have questions about applying directly to PhD from their undergraduate program. So what's your advice for those kind of people? Do you advise or do you recommend that applicants apply directly after undergraduate, or should they complete their master's degrees first?
Yeah, I think this is a great question. And I think it's one that requires a little bit of self-reflection in order to answer it individually. Because if you're someone who has a bachelor's degree and you're applying directly into a PhD program, your PhD program is going to require you to do extensive amount of research in a very specific topic. And if you are someone who has no research experience, or if you're unsure about what topic that you want to study at a PhD level, then those two things mean that you're not ready for a PhD, and you should apply to a master's program first. If you have extensive research and your experience in that research and your vision for yourself moving forward is very focused on one specific topic, then I think that's great and you should apply for a PhD program. I think you have a good chance of doing that. But the realistic answer to this question is that you are also competing with people in those in the PhD application pool who have master's degrees and have at least 2 more years of experience in most cases than you may have. So you have to have a very strong bachelor's degree profile with very strong experience in the industry in which you are interested in applying to in order to be eligible for a PhD program. There are very few PhD spots in any PhD program compared to the spots available to master's programs. So PhD programs are incredibly selective and in most cases come with a lot of funding that is provided to you. So your application to a PhD program needs to be strong and focused and concentrated in an area that means something to you. If you are unsure about any of that, then a master's degree is where you should go, and a PhD program can come after a master's degree for you.
Thank you, Andrew. So my next question is for Mark. And so there are some people here who want to go for master's degrees just to pursue an entrepreneurial career, right? They want to be entrepreneurs. They are the future Elon Musk of Africa, right? So what support or resources are available on campus for students like that want to be entrepreneurs in STEM fields?
Yeah, we've definitely seen a lot of interest in entrepreneurship, particularly in the past few years. Um, I know my colleagues will also have centers that are available to this, but we do have a specific center. We have several institutes that are focused on STEM entrepreneurship. Students can do everything from pitch competitions. There are seed funding available. There's seed funding available as well. There are also some opportunities for students to lend funding over the summer so they can develop their ideas further. So there's a lot of support built in everywhere from ideation to getting to potentially launching a product. And that's built in for our master's students as well. It's not just something that we are keeping for the undergrads. So there are ample opportunities. I could dig more, but if anyone else has any specifics that they want to share about their institution, feel free.
Does anyone else on the panel want to contribute to that? Okay. All right. So my next question is for Julie. And I know that some of your programs require interviews as part of the admission process. So I wanted to ask what tips you have for people who are going to, go through that interview. What tips do you have for those people to prepare for such interviews?
Yeah, so we require a pre-recorded video interview from all of our MS applicants. And this is your time to really introduce yourself and how you would be a great fit for the program. This is not a pop quiz. We won't be asking you questions about like what does ethics in academia mean to you, right? It's about tell us a joke. You know, what is your favorite food? What did you do over this summer? It's our chance to get to know you. So apart from that, I would go over your resume and be able to highlight all that you have accomplished that you're very proud of, that you want the admissions committee to know. Please don't script your resume, your interview. I feel like we would know. So just keep it fun. It's our chance to get to know you. So, and we'll be able to tell too. So, yeah, I would just have fun with it.
Thank you very much, Julie. So I want to throw a general question to everyone on the panel, and this is about how your admission teams consider, what factors they consider during the application review process. So I'll start with Catherine. So just let us know what are the factors, what are the things that you look out for, what are the factors that you look out for, what are the things you look out for in the candidates when reviewing the application. And if you could also add, some of the pitfalls, that you've seen that candidates have done, and how they can avoid it. That would be, really helpful to everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So for our application, we ask for some pretty standard materials that most universities are also going to be asking for. Obviously, you need to fill out the online application. You need to submit copies of your transcripts from any higher education institution you've attended. We're going to ask for letters of recommendation at GW. That's going to be 2 for a master's, 3 for a PhD. And we don't care whether it's a professional or an academic, it's up to you. Some schools will be very strict and very specific. They will only want to see academic, they will only want to see professional. They'll let you know. We're not hiding that information. Along with that, we're asking for a copy of your resume and CV, statement of purpose. Again, our GRE is optional, so that's up to you to decide if you want to submit it. And if you've earned a degree or will earn a degree in Zimbabwe, we do not require English language test scores. The other thing I would note is that at GW, we do not require, at GW Engineering, we do not require an external credential evaluation from a company like WES or anything like that. Some schools may. So just make sure that you're reading the requirements, the application requirements very carefully, that you're noting where there might be differences between, say, GW and Boston University or us and even our GW School of Business. Each program might have different requirements and they might have different deadlines. So make sure that you're paying close attention to that. That's a big pitfall. Students miss out on that deadline. They don't notice that actually my deadline is different from Columbia Engineering's deadline, and they only write down one after this session. And then probably the largest pitfall that I see all the time is in that statement of purpose. Please use the correct school name. Please. You don't know how many applications I've read for George Mason University, Georgia Tech University, Georgetown University. It's not my name, guys. We're George Washington. Please get that right. I don't know if anyone else wants to add on. I tried to be broad to be helpful, but if you guys have anything else to add, go for it.
I think being selective about who you're going to ask for a recommendation letter, sometimes students think that because they got a very high grade in a class that that's the person we want to hear from. But sometimes the most compelling letters of recommendation come from classes where you struggled or where you had to go in for extra help in office hours and work really, really hard to get a B. So that letter of recommendation can be more compelling sometimes than simply he got an A in my class and he did really well on tests. So being strategic about academic letters of recommendation can certainly help too.
Thank you, Mark. Julie, Andrew, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I think that was very all-encompassing.
All right, Andrew?
No, nothing else that hasn't already been said. Thanks.
Okay, amazing, amazing. Okay, so now we'll move to the Q&A section. So if you still have questions and you've not put them in the Q&A session of the chat, please do so now. So I'm going to take some questions from some lucky people here. So I think I should start with, let me see. So I will start with, okay, so there's a question here from an anonymous attendee. And the question is around, so for someone who has studied a science degree, so he's saying that he has an undergrad in food science and he wants to do a master's in any of your schools. Is he eligible for that master's? And what does he have to do to be eligible? Does anyone wants to take that?
I mean, I think it depends a little bit on some of the work that he's done during the program and where he wants to go with it. I think food science is a degree that could be taken in a few different directions at a master's level. So, there could be something along the lines of urban farming or something like even genetically modified food at the master's level. There are different directions that could be taken. So I think for very specific options at some of our schools, you might find a home. But in general, we're looking for students who I think have a technical background, who have related programs, the undergraduate degree. But there are a lot of students who successfully make a pivot from one program at their bachelor's degree to a different program at their master's degree. And as long as you can tell the story about how your decision happened to change your mind from your bachelor's degree to your master's degree, or if you had a really great internship or work experience that brought you some additional training and expertise in an area and you wanted to move more towards that at a master's level, I think those are great stories that we love to hear about in your master's application, especially for students who are making that pivot. I think it's a good choice to focus on that in an essay. For example, if you're making an application to a master's degree that is different from your bachelor's degree, making sure that you do address that is helpful to add some context for the application reviewer.
Okay. Mark, I saw you're unmuted. Do you want to contribute to that?
Andrew's response was brilliant.
All right. Okay, so the next question is also from an anonymous attendee, and it's around work opportunities while studying. Are there any work opportunities available, in terms of teaching assistantship, any other opportunities available for candidates while studying at your respective schools?
Yeah.
Okay, Catherine.
I can take that really briefly. This is going to vary by institution, but at GW Engineering, assistantships like teaching or research assistantships are typically going to be reserved for doctoral students at the point of admission. It's not impossible for a master's student to get an assistantship, but it typically wouldn't happen until later in your program. You know, you're very new. You maybe don't have a lot of experience. We don't quite know you yet. So typically assistantships wouldn't become available until you've been in the program for about a year. You've developed a relationship with your professors. They might invite you to apply for an opening in their lab. They might ask you to be a TA. But again, those opportunities wouldn't come until later at the master's level. At the doctoral level, you would receive a funding letter at the point of admission that would let you know how you're being funded and which role with which professor as your advisor. And then, of course, there are other work opportunities on campus outside of assistantships. Those are hourly wage opportunities, like I mentioned earlier. That's where you might apply for a job as a front desk student worker or, working on the IT team, helping out at the gym, something like that, where you're working for a couple hours a week and you're getting an hourly wage for that job. So those are the work opportunities at the university for students.
Okay. Does anyone on the panel else wants to answer that or chip in to that?
I will say at NYU, you can start out as a graduate, what we refer to as a graduate assistantship, but is a common student employment position on campus. But it does pay very well. In fact, it pays at a minimum rate $30 per hour, and you can work up to 20 hours per week on campus while you're on a US student visa. So you do have some opportunities to work on campus. In addition to everything that was already said, regarding PhD level work for TAs and RAs, research assistantships and teaching assistantships. Those are typically either second semester master students or traditionally for PhD students. So there are a number of different opportunities, and every single one of our schools will have career centers or databases that you can look through to review those on-campus job opportunities and apply for them. Each of them will have slightly different requirements in terms of what the work does and what you need to have in terms of experience for applying to them. But many of them will just be positions that you can apply for regardless of what kind of experience you have in your background, especially for those ones that are traditional student employment opportunities where you're working administrative jobs or different roles around campus.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Okay, so we have another question from an anonymous. It's very funny that a lot of people asking, are anonymous attendees. It's around studying. This person is asking, I was studying a bachelor's degree, but I haven't graduated yet. I'll graduate next year, but so he said he doesn't have his CGPA yet because he has not graduated, but can he apply now for any of your universities, or should he or she wait until he has graduated? So does anyone, okay, Julie? You want to take that?
This is a good question. So you can apply. I will say submit all the transcripts that you have available now. At the point of if you are admitted, we will ask for your final transcript. So that's where we will see like your whole complete transcript. But yeah, I would say you can start your application, start researching, as long as you will have obtained your bachelor's degree before your master's, program starts.
Thank you, Julie. So finally, we have one question with a name that is not anonymous. Tatenda Lavati. Sorry if I butchered your name. So your question is around application fee waiver. So it seems like you missed some of the presentations that had the waivers. So our panelists will put their application fee waivers in the chat so that you can you have them available for you. So we'll put all the waivers in the chat. So please check the chat for application fee waiver codes. They also leave their emails for contacts and any links for application as well. So you can go right ahead. You don't even have to wait to the end of this webinar to apply. Just click. If you want to apply now, you should start the application right away. You have my permission to go right now. If you want to start, start applying right away. So application fee waivers will also be in the chat. All right. So I hope that has been addressed. So let's move to the next. Yes.
Give us permission to message everybody.
Oh, so sorry. Give me a minute.
Do you do that? I'm happy to share all that information.
Sure. Okay, so you should have access right away. So please drop the links and the waiver codes so they can start applying right away. So, but please don't leave if you want to apply. You can apply while still also listening to us, but you can also start applying right away so you don't miss this opportunity. Okay, so I'm moving to my next question. And this is also an anonymous person. So I want to look for someone that is not anonymous. I think we've answered so many anonymous questions. So let me just take this. So it's about it's about the PhD application. So someone is asking if if the opportunity to apply directly from with a bachelor's degree to PhD is open to all fields or is limited to specific programs. Does anyone want to take that question? Is it open to all fields or is it just limited to particular programs?
Yeah, so it will vary by school, but typically most of our PhD programs do not actually require a master's degree. So there are quite a lot of students that will apply directly from undergrad. It's just a question of whether or not we're accepting PhD applications for said program.
Okay, so is there anyone else on the panel who wants to add to that?
Yeah, so Columbia Engineering actually requires students to have a master's in order to apply directly into a PhD program. However, we do have something called a track program, so Columbia's MS PhD track. It's explicitly designed for students that have not earned their master's degree yet, but plan for a doctorate. So these students are considered for PhD programs upon acceptance, but the MS coursework is wrapped into the program.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going through. All right, so there are a lot of questions here about the scholarships. So please visit our website, sagglobaleducation.com, and you'll find out about the scholarships that are available for the schools, or you can also visit the school's website as well. And I think most of them also already talked about the scholarships that that are available in their school. So you can check their websites or you can reach out to them, the schools, via the links or the emails that are in the chat so that we don't repeat what has already been said before. So you also find all the requirements, qualifications, everything that is needed to qualify for these scholarships, right? So another question that okay, so this is also about work. So are there opportunities? I think we've taken this. Will I get opportunity to work while doing my master's? So opportunities to work while doing my master's. I think we've taken that question already. Let me see. Are there any other new questions? So a lot of questions here have been answered. Okay. Okay, so yes, so I found a question around visa, and I think this is one question that a lot of people would love answers for too. So we know, I mean, it's very difficult for some of these people, for some people, I mean, especially in a country like Zimbabwe to get visas. So is there any help that the school is offering for visas? Is there any way the schools are supporting or helping or anything that the schools can do to support with visa? So anyone on the panel can take this question.
I think, well, I was just going to say, I think one thing that the schools can do is that all of us will provide you an admissions decision as quickly as possible because we know your visa process can sometimes take a lot of time, and often the first step in starting that process is to get admitted to one of our schools. And so the earlier that you apply, oftentimes the earlier the quicker we can get you a decision back. That's not the case for every single institution, but I think every school will do their best effort to get you a decision quickly, knowing that you have a student visa process ahead of you. And each of our schools will also have, as was discussed earlier, an Office of Global Services or an Office of International Students and Scholars that will assist, some sort of office of that will assist with students who are applying to a student visa or who need a certificate of eligibility or an I-20 that will allow you to begin that student visa process. So I think my advice for this is to apply as early as possible, because this process can sometimes take a lot of time, and sometimes you have to wait for things like a visa appointment to show up, and sometimes to get a response after you conduct that visa appointment. So starting this process as early as possible will help you to avoid any stress or worry about the potential that you do not get a student visa in time. And we will do our best to make sure that we're getting you all the documentation and supporting you along that process.
Yeah, and I would just add to that, there are other resources outside of your university that you can definitely reach out to. Specifically, I want to highlight Education USA. They are a service that the US government provides that they support all over the world. They have offices throughout the regions, including one in Harare, where they offer in-person and virtual appointments. So they can assist you with preparing for applying for your F1 visa. They can assist you with what to expect in that interview. They can also do sessions like this. You can learn about other schools that maybe you're not familiar with, other scholarship opportunities that schools might be offering. I'm going to include that link in the chat so that you can all take a look, take advantage. Reaching out to them will definitely help you to prepare for that visa process. Um, Also, one thing to note for all of you is that right now, students who are looking to apply for an F1 non-immigrant student visa would need to travel to Johannesburg to apply, because the Harare office is not currently doing that. We're hoping that changes in the future, but making sure that you have those plans set, that you are talking to the Harare Education USA office to prepare and what that looks like, that'll certainly assist you.
Thank you very much, Kath. So I would love to invite one or two people who have questions to maybe unmute them to ask directly. So if you have a question, please make sure the question is around scholarships. I think that has been addressed. Make sure it's not around scholarships. If you want to find out about the school scholarships, you can either go to the SEED website or the school's website. So we'll not take questions around scholarships or how to apply. To apply, go to the school's website. So if your questions is not around, something that can be found on the website easily, you can raise your hand and I'll allow you to speak briefly. So we have three people on the call. So Kelly Bandasin, I would allow you to talk now. So please be brief with your question, go straight to the point, so we can move to the next person. Kelly, are you there?
Oh, yes, I'm there. Hello, how are you?
Okay. Very well, thank you.
Okay, my question is around the campuses. Do you or do they have campuses which are not in the United States of America? Because personally, I'm from Zimbabwe and I've tried to go to US study masters in cybersecurity, which I had a placement at Yeshiva University, and I had a loan from Empower. So I couldn't get a visa because my parents they used to work in Namibia and then they migrated from Namibia to UK. So in my passport there was a Namibian visa. So unfortunately because of that Namibian visa I couldn't get an American visa because I tried twice because I could not present ties to my country. So I want to ask if maybe do you have campuses or colleges that are not in the United States, because I don't want to go back to the consular office and then get disappointed again. I hope you understand.
Yeah, that's a good question, Kelly. So does anyone on the panel want to address that question?
I will say that NYU does have campuses in Abu Dhabi and also in Shanghai. However, I will say that every student who studies at one of those campuses is offered admission to one of the New York City NYU Tandon master's or PhD programs, and the use of those other campuses are short term during your program that's conducted here in the United States. So I think your question was, can I go to another country and study at one of your universities and do my entire degree? And unfortunately for NYU, the engineering school, that is not possible. You would have to be based out of New York City, and you could do a short-term study in one of those other campuses that I mentioned.
Thank you, Andrew. So I think that answer applies to across board to all the other schools, right? Okay. So let's move to Hilary Mabiza. So I'm going to, okay, can you ask your question? Are you there?
Yes, hi everyone. So I just wanted to ask about the student's loan. When you apply for a student loan, and then you get, the student loan, how are you expected to pay back? Like, basically do you have to do? Like, are you given an opportunity to like work in America and then you pay back the loan or what?
Okay, I think I can take that. So if you're done with your studies and with a STEM degree, you're allowed to stay back and work for a few years. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I think 3 years, Catherine. So
Year,
right?
everyone, and maybe 3 years, depending on your program.
Yes.
Okay,
Most
of us
depends on
are
your program.
yeah,
Yes.
so yes.
Yes. So with that, that should give you, some time to be able to work and pay back your loans. But I think that question can better be addressed to your loan provider, right? Wherever you're getting the loan from, they would also be able to provide that answer, because nobody will just give you a loan if you don't have a plan to pay back, right? So so I think that answers that question. Thank you, Hilary. So we'll move to the next person. So please, if you have questions around funding, as I said before, scholarships, funding, those questions, you can find them online. You can get in touch with the school or the loan providers. So any other questions aside that, that's what we want to address right now. So Panache, yes, are you there? Can you ask your question? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, are you there? Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. So I wanted to ask. I saw there are other options that we could study online. Is there a possibility that maybe that would provide approximately maybe 90% of the scholarship? Since maybe moving to United States can be a bit cumbersome, especially at the moment. We have tried with Empower, but apparently the visas got rejected in August. So we were hoping, because I wanted to move to United States with my friend, but the visas got rejected. So we were hoping maybe if there is an opportunity for us to study online and probably get a 100% scholarship, around maybe 90%.
Okay, so we'll take the question around the study online, but for the 100% scholarship, please don't expect 100% scholarship. There's no school that will give 100% scholarship, right? Because this is an investment in your future as well. So you need to also put up an investment in yourself, right? So please don't expect any institution to, fully fund your own future, your education, right? So I'll allow Catherine to answer the question about the studying online.
Yeah, I was just going to say that GW Engineering does offer some online master's and PhD programs. However, they are managed by a different office than mine, so I don't have a lot of information about them, including what potential scholarships they may or may not offer. I can certainly share the link in the chat for their website, and you can reach out to their office. But just know, again, it's going to be a fully online program, and I am not sure on whether or not they are asynchronous, where you can do the classes when you want and the homework when you want, or if they're synchronous, where you might be expected to log in for a class at 2 o'clock in the morning while everyone else is in the US. Mark, I know, has done that as a student when he's been traveling, and it doesn't sound fun. But if you want to, you might be able to.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Julie, you want to add to that?
Yeah, similar to Kat, we also have a online option. So it's called Columbia Video Network, where we have a few master's programs as well as some certificate programs available. And I'll also link it in the chat.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I'm going to assume that NYU and Boston doesn't have any online.
We have a few as well, and the cost is a lot lower, which is also why we don't offer scholarships typically for online programs.
Okay.
And I'll put the link to my online programs in the chat, like the others have as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Andrew. Okay, so Trust Matsirime, I'm going to allow you to ask your question now. Please keep it brief. It's Trust. Okay. Are you there, Trust?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my question is, I wanted to know if you do social sciences, if this institution they're catering for social sciences.
Okay, so the schools on this call are STEM, most engineering schools, STEM, they offer STEM programs.
Yeah,
So
I'm probably the only one as the College of Arts and Sciences that does offer social science programs, but I'm adding to the list the webinar chat so you can actually find some of our humanities programs there too.
All right, okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Okay, so I think we can only take one or two more questions. So Talent Zoo. Are you there, Talent? Hello? Hello, Talent. Okay, seems you are not ready yet. Okay, so Method Manjengwa. Method, are you with us? Hello, Method.
You?
Yes, we can hear you. Well,
Yes.
Okay, go on.
It's okay. Thank you very much for that webinar. It actually gives us a solid, concrete information towards what is needed. On my side, I'm just studying statistics and financial mathematics, and I have seen that all the things that I need, as for now, we actually get the proper information on my end.
Okay, so we've answered all your questions. Is that what you're saying?
I don't have a question. Everything is clear on my side.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you, Method.
You're welcome.
Okay. So Fatsiso, are you there?
Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, okay. So my question is, do you sponsor local in Zimbabwe? Are you local universities?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Do you offer local, uh, for example, I can study locally in Zimbabwe. Do you offer that? Then you sponsor
Do we offer local what? I didn't get that.
local scholarships.
Local scholarship. Okay, so as I mentioned before, you can check, there are some links in the chat. You can check the links to the schools, go to their website, and you find out about scholarships available for each school. And you can also go to our website, seedglobaleducation.com, to find out about other scholarships available. So you see both, scholarships are open to everyone, both local, as you put it, and you can access those scholarships, apply to them, right? Thank you. I hope
So,
that answers your question.
sorry. So do you specifically for Zimbabwe?
It's open to everyone, Zimbabweans, Kenyans, Nigerians, so long as you can access the website, you have access to apply.
So okay, so may I rephrase my question? Let's say I want to study at the University of Zimbabwe. Are you able to sponsor me?
No, unfortunately, sorry. Thank you. We have to move to the next question. Thank you very much, Francisco. Okay, I think that's okay. We have just so we can only take one more question. Gift, are you there? Gift Shonai.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I wanted to ask this question. Do you offer any programs that are not engineering ones? Maybe something like commercials, like accounting, management, or something like that, or economics?
Yes, as a College of Arts and Sciences, absolutely. And although my colleagues here are all engineering schools, they do have amazing university partners that offer all of those programs. So yeah, you'll find that at all of our campuses.
That's all right. Thank you.
Okay, so I just spotted one question in the Q&A with regards to the statement of purpose. So someone is asking what the expected standard required is in terms of the length and to whom it will be addressed to. During the application process, is the person is this going to be a person who's ready? Okay. Then he's also asking if whoever is going to write the statement of purpose will be available. So let's just take the statement of purpose question and can leave the other part of it. So what's the expected standard required for statement of purpose in terms of length and whom it should be addressed to? Catherine, do you want to take that?
Yeah, of course. So when you're writing the statement of purpose, the thing that you need to remember is that it's going to be read by maybe a cohort of people. It's going to be read by an admissions committee. So people like Mark, Andrew, Julie, and I who work for the admissions office for our team. But it will also be read by our faculty, our professors, who are the content experts of the program that you're applying to. So, certainly, you should be making sure that you are paying close attention to whatever the requirements are for that statement of purpose. Some schools, like NYU, I believe, will have a specific prompt where we are asking for you to answer a specific question. And some might be more like GW Engineering, where we're really just saying, tell us why. Tell us about yourself. Tell us whatever you want. You've got 500 words, go for it. So it's really up to you to write what you're doing, so long as you're answering the question being asked. But I would say that what's most important is to, one, make sure that you're writing professionally, that you're not just writing text speak or using AI and letting another thing write for you. And then the other thing is to just make sure that you are really speaking to why are you ready to do this program now and why at this institution. And just know that the people reading it, we're very familiar with our schools and our programs, and we want to get to know you and how you're going to fit into our community and how our program is going to fit into your future goals.
Thank you very much, Kath. Okay, so I think we've exhausted all of the questions. Thank you very much to every one of you on the call, and thank you so much to our panelists. Thank you for taking the time to provide so much information and so much value to everyone on the call. And if I were you on this call, I would rush to the comment section and start clicking on all the links there, right? Because as soon as we end this call, all of those links are going to disappear forever. And I don't want you to start chasing each of our speakers in their email and asking questions about, the fee waiver and everything. So go to the chat now, start clicking on all the links that you see there, save them, bookmark them, so that you can apply and go to them when ready. And also save the application fee waivers so you can also use them. So you have basically two choices. You can either sit back, relax, and continue to do what you've been doing, right? And not see any progress next year. Or you can take this opportunity to apply to these schools and see your career go to the next level, right? Because these are the top 1%, top 10% schools in the US, and going for these programs will take your career to the next level. So you need to start going there, going to those links, start your applications today, and we would see you at the next stage. So before we roll the curtains, so I want to ask each of the panelists to give one last word of advice to everyone on this call. So what advice would you give to everyone applying for the 2026 application? Like what advice would you give them? So I'll start with Kat. Just a word of advice, and so we can roll the curtains.
Yeah, my advice is going to be make sure that you're doing your research. We are never hiding information from you. It's going to be publicly available on our websites. We link the requirements, we link info sessions, we link deadlines, we link what programs we offer at what level and what other schools might have them and how to get to them, what funding opportunities there are. So just make sure that you're doing that search. And then if you truly can't find something, if you're struggling, you can always use the admissions office as a resource, reach out to us, ask questions, but just make sure that we're not hiding anything. We provide those resources for you to help you out through this process. And we're here to assist you and hope to see you on our campuses.
Thank you so much, Kat. Mark?
I would say it's put your best foot forward when it comes to how you're presenting yourself in the statement of purpose. I think it's important also to answer the question that's being asked. So sometimes those can be very nuanced, but at the end of the day, we're looking for reasons to like the person that has written that statement and to want them in our community. So if you have done that at the end of your personal statement, then you've succeeded and you've put your best foot forward. That also means polishing it up, making sure there are no mistakes, making sure there are no grammar errors, and making sure that at the end of reading it, we fall in love with who you are and we want you in our community.
Thank you so much, Mark. Andrew?
I think be focused on what you're doing. I think don't apply just to apply. Don't apply to a PhD program just because you think it'll be fully funded. I think don't apply for the sake of applying to a number of schools. Be intentional. Wrap all of your pieces of your application together with intention. Explain why you're applying to a specific school, who are the faculty that you hope to work with if you get admitted into that school. Show us that you've done research, where you're putting a lot of time into putting an application together. We are also putting a lot of time into reading that application and issuing a decision back to you. And hopefully that decision is an offer of admission and we can work together for the next few years on your graduate journey. So I think it's a big investment. We hope to support you throughout the entire journey, especially during the admissions process. So I'll put the contact information for the admissions team in the chat, like my colleagues have done as well. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Andrew. Last but not the least, Julie.
Yeah, I'll echo everyone in this call. I think my biggest advice is to approach your application with authenticity. Take time to really understand the program's strengths and be able to identify where your interests align, and really highlight your experiences that can really speak to your abilities and your passion for the program. And also remember to have fun with this process. I know it could be really scary, but this is an exciting time for you to start your application for your future careers. So, yep.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Andrew, Julie, Catherine, Mark. It's been a pleasure spending this evening with you. And so everyone, you've heard from the panelists, you've heard from the reps. Take your time, apply, think about why you want to apply. Take advantage of this opportunity right now, because this opportunity will not be here, in a couple of weeks, right? So you need to take advantage right now so you can apply and get in before the deadlines, before the close of the deadline. So with that, I want to thank everyone for staying with us till the end. Thank you so much for joining us. I promised you that this session was going to be insightful, and we delivered on that promise. And I hope we're going to see you on other events such as this now and in the future. Please follow us across our social media channels, and also make sure you visit our website, sageglobaleducation.com, bookmark it, because there's so much that is going on in a couple of weeks, right? So many events, so many updates that you can't afford to miss. So make sure that you have us bookmarked, you have us followed across all the social media channels. I remain Coyote Abbas, Regional Manager at SAID, and I want to thank you so much for your time. And we would see you all in school next year. Good night, everyone. Good night, Mark, Andrew, Catherine, Julie, and we'll see you all on the next one. Thank you, and bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.